Welcome back to the MMA Business Hour, everyone. In today's episode, we're going to discuss the predictions for UFC Las Vegas 76, Strickland versus Magomedov. We're going to get into the breakdowns on all these fights, some of the bets that I made this week, and also, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. I'm giving away a Stipe Miocic's autograph photo authenticated by Beckett. So this is what you have to do. Go into the comments below, write the word subscribed, and then you'll be entered in the contest. And if we reach 4,000 subs by the end of July, I'm going to mail this out to one lucky fan. All right, let's get into the video. All right, here we are, guys. Las Vegas 76, Strickland versus Magomedov. All right, let's get into the card. All right, we have, 12 fights on this card. The first one we're going to break down is Alexander Romanov versus Blagoy Ivanov. I looked at them both on the scale, and Blagoy looks fucking old as shit. How old is he? Because he looks so old. 36. He'll be 37 in October. And then Alexander Romanov, he looks so fat. Look at these before. Bear with me, guys. All right. Just if you look at him today and him, and last year, look at the difference in physique. This guy looks like a killer. This guy looks like he ate all of everything. Like, what haven't you eaten? He just looks super overweight, and I don't know, man. He does not look great at all. Man, he got destroyed by Alexander Volkov. From a betting perspective, I think over 2.5 rounds is like the plus 120 range, something like that. That I don't hate as a potential bet. But yikes. I'm gonna go with the younger guy, Alexander Romanov, but not because I really think he's gonna win. If Blagoy won, I wouldn't be surprised if he won like a 29-28 decision, because Romanov just looks horrible. He looks not great. And then we're going to go on to the Ivana versus Luana Carolina. Carolina is the girl who got absolutely spinning back elbowed into another dimension by Molly McCann. She's super weak. And I think Ivana, let me look at my notes real quick. I think this is her first fight. In the UFC. So, yeah, I mean, that's going to be a close fight. But I think Ivana's going to win. Luana is just not a really great fighter. Ivana's 6-0, and I'm pretty sure this is her first UFC fight. But she's fought really mediocre competition. Yeah, she hasn't fought in the UFC yet. She'll make her debut tomorrow. I never like betting on a first-timer. So from a betting perspective, I'm avoiding this fight. But I think Ivana should get the win. I think they're going to want this 6-0 fighter to fight someone she could beat, and I think that's why they made this fight. All right, then we're going to go to Guram Kutateladze versus Els Brenner. Brenner, he comes from a really good gym. He trains with Charles Oliveira down at Shoot Boxing in Brazil. He's a good fighter. But this guy, Guram, I think he's got a chance to make a run at this division. I think he's in 155. Yeah, I think he's got he fought where's he at? He fought Demir like a year and a half ago, something like that, and that fight was amazing. Guram and Demir are killers, dude. So I like Guram here. I like him in a parlay. So let's see, do I have my bets up? All right, here are my bets so far. I have Guram in a parlay with Brito and Renat. I like that bet for sure. I'm going with Guram here 100% of the time. He's a great fighter. He's a killer, man. And hopefully he'll be able to fight more often after this. Try to get those 3, maybe even 4 fights a year. He's a guy that could be jumping into the top 15 soon with a W here. Then we go on to Yana Santos versus Carol Rosa. Rosa looked really not great on the scale today. And that's another reason why I think Yana Santos is going to win. Santos has fought killers, man. She's 4-4 in the UFC, but Irene Aldana, who just fought against Amanda Nunes for a title, Holly Holm, I mean, Aspen Ladd, I mean, all those losses. Chris Cyborg, she's fought. I mean, she's fought killers, man. So she's learned a lot. She should get the W here for sure against an inexperienced Rosa. And then we're going to go on to Joe Anderson Brito versus Weston Wilson. Weston Wilson is a humongous underdog at plus 800. I don't even know why they put on fights like this. I think he was at minus 800 earlier in the week. Brito is now at a crazy minus 1400. Did I get him? Oh, yeah, I got him at minus 800. That has ballooned up to minus 1400, so that means a lot of money's moving in on him. So if you follow my bets earlier in the week, you can get in on some of these bets at a lot better odds, guys. You got to subscribe to the channel, and you'll get these bets earlier so we can make more money together. Last week, we went 4 for 4 on our bets. I mean, Brito, if he loses at minus 1400, I don't even know what to say about that. And then we go to Kevin Lee versus Renat. Renat has crazy wrestling and top pressure. He reminds me of all those Dagestani guys like Islam and Khabib that get on top of you and they just smother you to death. There were some other YouTubers saying that Kevin Lee's going to win. Give me a fucking break. There's no chance that Kevin Lee wins this fight. Kevin Lee couldn't even put away Diego Sanchez, who's like 40 million years old, and he's a shell of himself. It's like, what? He went to a decision with Diego Sanchez, and he's going to beat Renat? Get the fuck out of here. Renat all day. And then we got Rusabayov versus Fieta. Fieta looked great and super husky on the scale, man. I want to look at some of my notes. This looks like a great fight. Yeah, man, this fight is going to be awesome. Rusabayov versus Fieta at 185. This dude's like a brick shithouse, man. Fieta at 10-0. And, man, this guy, Rusabayov, he's fighting out of Philly. His skill set, his bottom game was weak, I noticed. He's a winner of 8 straight, UFC debut. He loves Kimura. He keeps his hands super low, which I didn't like. And Bruno's got really good takedowns. He's super strong and compact. Man, this is going to be a tough fight. Yeah, I agree with the odds maker that Bruno should be a moderate favorite. I wish if he was on that minus 175, minus 150 range, I would go for him. But I like Bruno to get the job done. All right, then we're moving on to Bonfim versus Saint-Denis. This is another fight at 155. It's going to be a fun one. I always love the 155 fights. Watching the lightweight division is my favorite division by far. But this is going to be a good fight. You know, we got another guy who's a pretty big favorite at minus 320, but Saint-Denis looked super shredded on the scale. Looks like he's in really good shape. Do I have any notes on this fight? I don't have a ton of notes on this fight. This is a fight that I think the favorite is going to win this fight, but from a betting perspective, I don't really see any odds that I dig. Then I like Melissa Gatto over Ariana Lipsky. She's just better all around. I think a lot of bets have come in on Gatto as like a parlay piece. So that's an interesting bet. I like Gatto to get the W. Then we go to Max Griffin and Michael Morales. I think Morales is a big favorite here. Let's check the odds. Yeah, minus 250. I always liked Max Griffin. I thought he was someone who could potentially be a star. But he just doesn't show up, man. He's fought 7-7 in the UFC. He's fought everyone. You know, anytime he gets a big fight, he loses. I mean, he lost to Cowboy Oliveira. Alex Morono he lost to. When was that? Back in 2019. He had fights against Miliander, Thiago Alves. He's got to win over Mike Perry, man. And he lost to Colby Covington. Then he went on a, 3-fight win streak. Then he lost to Neil Magny, who seems to be the gatekeeper at 170. If you can't beat Neil Magny, there's no chance you have of beating the top echelon of fighters at 170. But I think they're setting Max Griffin up to lose this fight and to push Morales, who looks pretty dang good. And if he gets a win here, then he's got a serious chance of getting a big fight at 170. Man, he is 14 and 0. Look for him to get the W. And he might be a piece that you add. That's not a bad bet at minus 250. I like parlaying Morales with Renat. That's a bet. I think I'm going to go make that bet right now. And then we go to the co-main event of the evening, Grant Dawson. He's got a lot of hype behind him, and Damir Asmagulov. Asmagulov, I think, has the potential to be a top 10 guy at 155. I'm going to go with Damir. And then we have Sean Strickland versus Abus Magomedov. I watched a ton of tape on Sean Strickland. He's a really hard guy to figure out. He's got a straightforward kind of boxing stance, but he kind of uses this like shoulder roll, and like he parries a lot. He puts the hands in front of people's faces, and it confuses people. But I think Abus is going to be able to get around that because he fights from a distance. He's got a really long reach, and he uses great front kicks and side kicks, and he's got a really nice left hook, and he can use those kicks to keep Strickland away from him. If he lets Sean Strickland get into boxing range and they're fighting in a phone booth, it's going to be a tough fight for Abus. But if Abus is able to kind of, use that jab and use those teep kicks as like a jab to keep Sean Strickland away, and at a distance, he can land that crazy front kick to the face that he landed and got the knockout in his UFC debut. So I'm going to go with Abus there to get the W. And I think Sean Strickland's a douchebag, so I hope Abus beats him. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me know in the comments below who you think are going to win some of these fights. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Let's talk about it in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys on the next fight. Peace!